Contrary to popular tourist belief, the real Hawaii is actually very different than the Western world might think. It's not all tacky colors and beautiful sunsets and pretty island women who pass out way too many flowers at Waikiki. The traditional Hawaiians were actually a very powerful and complex race of warrior people who found very specific and ingenious ways to navigate, live, and thrive in their Polynesian world. Today what we're going to be looking at is the way that the native Hawaiians in the old days did land division. Now with land division, the first separation made is with the Moku, or the island in specific. Now the island that we're going to be looking at today is Oahu, which is also known as the Gathering Isle. Now the Moku is usually separated into smaller pieces or smaller districts, referred to as Moku. This can be confusing because Moku also means island in Hawaiian as well. Now the island of Oahu is separated into 6 different Moku. Those are Waialua, Ko'olauloa, Ko'olaupoko, Waianae, Ewa, and Kona. And the district that we're going to be looking at in specific is Kona. The Moku of Kona is further split into 10 different ahupua'a. An ahupua'a is a land division that runs from the mountain to the sea. And if you look even closer, there are 4 different ilis also located in the Moku of Kona. An ili is a smaller land division that is smaller than an ahupua'a and usually only reaches to the sea and not all the way up into the mountains. Now one famous ahupua'a of the Moku Kona district is Manoa, which is also known as the place of rest in Hawaiian. Manoa was originally known for its farming and agriculture that was heavy in the area, but as you can see, over time it slowly became heavily populated and slowly became a residential area. Now stepping further away from large sprawling valleys with not that many houses, Manoa is now known for its cute vintage houses that line their small, tight, and hard to drive in streets, and also upstanding different institutions such as University of Manoa and of course Mid-Pacific Institute. But older than those vintage houses and incredibly hard to drive roads is the old folklore story of Kahala o Puna. Kahala o Puna was born to a brother and sister who were unaware at the time of their incestuous relationship. The father's name was Kahua Kani, which is a synonym for the Manoa wind. The mother's name, Kaua Kuahine, also is the famous Manoa rain. As a child, she was betrothed to Kauhi, the young prince of Kailua in the Ko'olaupoko district. His parents were incredibly excited about the union that was to happen between their son and the semi-supernatural descendant that was Kahala o Puna. Much later in their lives, before the young couple was married, Kauhi had heard rumors made by 2 spiteful and jealous, really ugly men that they had actually conquested or laid with Kahala o Puna. Though this was lies, Kauhi heard it so many times repeated that he slowly came to believe them, and in his angry, brooding state, he quickly traveled to go and see her, as he had never yet laid eyes upon her beauteous form. Upon traveling to see her, and even upon meeting her, Kauhi was still obsessed with these lies about her sleeping around. And with his jealousy, he slowly dissolved into a fit of rage, and he killed her, stabbing her, and letting her die. And he left with the body. But her Amakua, or spiritual guardian, was in the form of a pueo, the mascot of Mid-Pacific Institute also, and it flew down and it brought her back to life. But Kauhi knew that she had been brought back to life, as because she was a demi-goddess born from the wind and rain of Manoa, there was always a rainbow that would follow her around. Kauhi, upon seeing the rainbow, knew that she had been brought to life and hunted her down and killed her again, and again the pueo came down and brought her back to life. Now this cycle happened so many times that finally the pueo decided to put her spirit into a rock, the Kahala o Puna rock that resides now to this day on the Mid-Pacific Institute campus near the football field. Now upon seeing her rainbow once again, he traveled again in the pursuit to kill her and found that she was in the rock. Now upon finding this, he finally decided to, well, quote unquote, wise up and went to go find the two ugly men who had lied in the first place about her sleeping around and her infidelity. Now threatening them with death, they finally confessed that yes, it was a lie, and no, she was never unfaithful to him. And thus he traveled back to the rock where his beloved stayed, encased in stone, and wept and cried and begged for her to be brought back into her mortal form. And yet the puel refused, and she remained in stone, happy and untouchable. The rest of his life remained a sad, lonely existence, where he constantly regretted his choice to kill what would have been a beautiful love story. Besides this tragic and horrible story, Manoa is actually known for other wonderful historical sites, including Kuka'o'oheiau, which was supposedly made by the Menehune, or small elf-like race that resided in the Hawaiian Islands in legends of old. Evidently, it's an agricultural temple made by the Ma'apele class dedicated to the rites and rituals surrounding food productivity. Now, another land division in the Moku Kona that isn't Manoa is the Ili, or the land division that only reaches from the ocean and not all the way up to the mountains exactly, is Kapalama, which is also known as the enclosure of the Lama Wood in Hawaiian. Kapalama is also home to the very famous school Kamehameha School's Kapalama campus, which is also the original and first of the Kamehameha schools. Originally founded by Princess Bernice Pauahi Bishop, Kamehameha Schools was designed to help Native Hawaiian children, and receives its name from King Kamehameha the Great, or King Kamehameha the First, who was Princess Bernice Pauahi Bishop's great-grandfather. The Ili of Kapalama is also home to the Kaumakapili Church, which moved to 766 North King Street after the 1900 fire in Chinatown. It was originally established on April 1st, 1938 as a Protestant church for common people to supplement the Kawaiaha'o Church, which was generally intended for nobility. The new building was finally dedicated on June 25th, 1911. The Moku of Kona has many different interesting and exciting places within its boundaries. Though the traditional way of land division might still not be practiced readily today, there is still something innately Hawaiian and traditional about these places that cannot and will not ever be changed, no matter how the face of these places may seem to change.
It's not the same without you no more. Whoa!